This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to our BAASS Connect Virtual 2021 session on Sage HRMS. My name is Nancy Pierce. I'm the HRIS practice leader with BAASS Business Solutions, and I've had the pleasure of speaking or working with many of you. This session on Sage HRMS is geared towards the existing HRMS customers, as well as an overview for those who are not users. Beyond the overview, the focus today will be on news from Sage, including their updated roadmap. Where is Sage going with HRMS? The new release of the ESS modernization version, and lastly, moving to subscription. What does it mean and how does it apply to you? As a reminder, if you're having any technical difficulties, please post to the questions area of your GoToWebinar panel so our moderators can assist you. We'll also use the questions box to collect your questions, comments, feedback, or requests for contact. We'll address your questions during the live Q&A session at the end of the day at 3:50 Eastern Time. So let's start with an overview of Sage HRMS. This best-of-breed on-premise solution has been popular for many years. It started as one of the original HR solutions, and it's growing from the core product to include employee self-service and a host of solutions to cover the hire to retire employee lifecycle. The HRMS core product is a tool for HR administrators to hold and report on employee information, including demographics, job and pay with history. Note that history is usually the primary driving force for an organization to start looking for HR software, since payroll systems commonly do not retain history of the job and pay changes over an employee's life with the organization. Leave of absence information can be collected, including expected return dates, and termination includes a yes/no option on whether the employee would be a good rehire candidate. Insurance benefits can be calculated if the premium costs are based on coverage related to annual income, such as life and long-term disability. The employee and/or employer premium would be updated if the annual income increases. Savings plans can be a flat or percentage amount. Employee dependents and beneficiaries can be kept in the system as well. Time off management is another primary driver for adding an HR software. For example, vacation entitlement imbalances can be calculated, accruals, for example, sick plans and their entitlement and time taken for any of these are included. These could be for paid or unpaid time off that you can have in the system. Events can be used to monitor specific certifications with renewal dates or whatever you'd like on your events list. You determine the list of events, and these include a next due dates. You can list skills such as languages. Notes can be added by the HR admin or by the manager in self-service, which can be helpful when it's time to do performance reviews. And attachments such as PDF, Word, or Excel files can be saved on employees. And these have also been dispersed throughout the system, adding you can add the events to areas that they're relevant to. The wellness section includes occupational health and safety incident details which you can collect, which can be used to populate the WSIB Form 7, although this is commonly filed electronically now. There can be up to 2 emergency contacts per employee, which can be accessible to employees to update in ESS, as many of this information is accessible. And custom panels can be created to be used for any information that isn't included in the system. For example, employee assets like phones, laptops, and keys. You can create your own drop-down fields, your own date fields, whatever you'd like to the depth that you'd like to go to collect this information, that's up to you. There's about 100 standard reports that come with the core module. There is Secure Query, which is an ad hoc reporting tool where you can select which fields you'd like to put on the reports that you're creating. And it also comes with a full version of Crystal Report Writer. If you have someone in the organization who is handy with that, they can create reports, and we'll be happy to create any custom reports that you need. It includes the HRMS link, which allows for the import and export of employee details. That's how we get the employee data into the system for the first time during an implementation. And there's also the Sage Payroll link, which passes information from the HR into Sage 300 Payroll. There are several additional applications that integrate with the HRMS core product. Employee self-service is really the primary one. ESS is a web portal hosted on your server to allow employees and managers to see or update employee information. We'll talk about that in a few more minutes. I'll give you some screenshots on that. Integrated timesheets and time clock solutions are available. Canadian and US payroll is available. This is the Sage 300 product, which is a robust solution. If you don't use Sage 300, you can add payroll to the HRMS solution, which this also includes a full general ledger module. For learning management, Sage HRMS has a train module that can be activated in the HRMS core application, or a full web version can be added. There's an ATS or applicant tracking system for web-based recruiting. HR Actions and Analytics. HR Actions are fillable web forms, pulling and updating data in the HRMS core. This could actually also be launched through employee self-service. There's also a new analytics application that mines the data. Alerts and Workflow. This is the best little product on the market for any application, not just HRMS. This monitors the database and sends notifications based on defined triggers. You could use it for Sage 300. I mean, the module's there. I've even heard that it can be used by the IT department to monitor space on servers. Org charts are web-based organization charts based on exported HRMS data. That's an integrated application. Active Directory Conduit. This little application will automatically disable Active Directory for users upon termination in HRMS. And additional network seats. It may be as simple as needing to allow more users access to the HRMS core system. If you're not an existing HRMS customer and would like more information on Sage HRMS, please contact either myself, your BAASS account manager, or send our team a post in the questions area. We'd be glad to discuss HRMS with you. If you're an existing HRMS customer now and you're interested in learning how to expand your usage, we can discuss additional modules and integrated products. Okay, now let's talk about Sage's plans for HRMS according to the recently updated roadmap. In October this year, Sage held an excellent webinar for HRMS customers. If you couldn't attend it, I will be reiterating some of that information here. During this webinar, we outlined their 3-year vision for making the HRMS product more modern and user-friendly to deliver customer and market needs to drive business success. They defined these 5 core principles for product innovation. This is on top of continuing to provide technical and brand compliance and legislative updates on a quarterly basis, as they do now. Keeping in mind the safe harbor disclaimer that these plans represent the current intentions of Sage and they may be modified, delayed, or abandoned, and there is no assurance the features will become available unless and until they have been made generally available to all customers. Now that we have that legal part out of the way, we've already seen progress on the first step with the October 28th release of the ESS modernization for those subscription customers. More on that in a minute, but also included in that first panel for modernization, simplification, and ease of use, the Q4 2021 update coming out in December will offer a modernized ESS mobile access experience for employees, managers, and administrators. This provides additional data and functionality to all users. Point number 2, product capabilities. In each quarterly release, Sage HRMS's development team will continue to address the enhancement requests that add value and ease of use. Use the product feedback link in HRMS to connect to Sage City to browse ideas that others have posted. The more votes an idea gets, the higher it goes on the list of priorities. So now's the time. Post your ideas for improvements and ask your coworkers to vote on them. Point 3, the web application accessibility. In 2022, Sage will begin migrating the existing core HRMS screens to ESS platform, which will upgrade the technology, provide improved performance, and increase the longevity and scalability of HRMS. This will be delivered in phases through 2022 and early 2023. So that's moving the administrator functionality to the ESS. Point 4, enhanced payroll and ISV integrations. The HRS payroll and integrated integrations will be updated for integration with ESS to offer a complete web application solution. And then point number 5, the development of a true mobile app is the final step, and that would be a downloadable app on a phone as opposed to a website that they're using now. So let's talk about the ESS modernization release for the subscription version. The rebuild of ESS allowed for an improved user interface, which now provides responsive UIs, allowing to resize the application to fit the user preference for browser window size. So if you're accessing ESS on a tablet, it adjusts to fit that screen size. They have expanded the screen resolution to support today's primary monitor size, and improved error validation and confirmations. So if there's an error on a field that's being updated, it highlights that field, and as you hover over it, it tells you what that error is. This release included some changes to the layout of some ESS pages. We see here that the personal profile, address, phone, email, and emergency contacts, which were all separate pages before, are now combined on one page for easier and faster access to the data. You can click on one of them on the right-hand side for quick access, or scroll down or tab through the fields to move through each section. They've added new pages and over 100 new fields that can be viewed and or edited by employees. These are pages or fields that already exist in the core HRMS system. Keep that in mind. Here are some examples of those that have been added. Note that the new fields are in gray, such as adding the length of service dates to employee and managers, and showing employees the date an attachment was last updated. So that you can see this is just a sample of some of the new fields. They've added the wellness page as well as previous employer. If an employee has a secondary job, it will now show on the job page, and employee and manager notes will be shown if the option is selected in HRMS by the admin. Employee notes option is just a view, and the manager option remains as view or update options. The time off experience for employees and managers has been enhanced by simplifying the request process. This is an area that Sage is really focused on. Employees can simply click on a date in the calendar to open the request time off screen populated, and it's already populated with the start date. Colors can be applied to time off plans, and they show in the updated calendar view for employees. Partial days are shown as a slice of a day, approved times a solid color, and time waiting to be approved has an outline. Hovering over a day shows the details, as shown here for this September date. The side panel shows a convenient overview of all plans. The details link on any one of those plans opens the familiar overview of the available balance and details of time entries. Note the attachments icon that will allow the employee to see any attachments that they provided. This is an example of the enhanced disbursement of attachments throughout the relevant areas of the core system. From the details page, the employee can easily use the request time off button or return to the calendar view. The manager's view has been changed to easily see the full month by employee for their direct reports, and of course all employees on one page there. They can use it for the direct reports or their indirect reports, and it has the same characteristics for the time entries that the legend at the bottom shows, as I just described. So a nice, easy overview. In other changes, the employee's benefit page has a cleaner look, making it easier to view and understand. The organization chart is easy to navigate and includes quick access to the employee contact details in the company phone list. This isn't really new with the ESS modernization. It's got a cleaner look, but it's a nice function that was added very recently by the developers. Employees can actually select whether to show their personal contact information, like we see here for the alternate email and home cell fields. This is actually a renaming of the pager field for the home cell. Managers have a clear overview of their employees' compensation for their direct reports and a drill down for details per employee and the ability to use the next buttons as needed. So that's just a peek at the ESS modernization that's available now to subscription customers. We've mentioned subscription quite a bit today. Let's talk about that for a little bit more. Anyone who has yet to purchase Sage HRMS or has purchased HRMS in the past year is on the subscription licensing. If you're in doubt, please reach out and we can confirm that for you. And if you're on subscription and you haven't had the ESS modernization installed, which actually really just came out a few weeks ago, we'd be happy to get that going for you. Anyone who owned HRMS prior to this year is still on the perpetual version. So what does subscription mean? Currently, HRMS customers pay an annual fee to Sage for Sage Business Care. It's either gold or silver, Sage Business Care. This is called a perpetual license. Subscription is similar. It's an annual fee based on employee tiers as it is now. Subscription is at the gold level, including up to 50% discount on Sage University HRMS courses and free recorded online courses. They also include an annual system check session with Sage HRMS team, online support and online appointment scheduling, as well as a private tutor session. So why is Sage moving HRMS to the subscription model? The reality is that moving to the subscription model is necessary for software publishers to continue to thrive, which benefits the users. The subscription model is becoming the dominant one, and Sage is making the move to stay competitive in the market. We have a lot of Sage 300 users here. Sage moved that product to subscription a few years ago. So what does that mean to you as the HRMS user? It's easy to migrate to subscription. Contact myself or your BAASS account manager for more information, or put a post in the questions here. There's no install required. Your HRMS system and data stay on your servers. This is just a change to the annual payments. The perpetual version updates will be limited to technical, brand, and legislative compliance and critical bug fixes. New features, some that you're hearing about today and more over the next few years, will be exclusive to the subscription version. So we talked about the ESS modernization. It's those who are on subscription who are entitled to get that. Sage is offering a 45% discount on the subscription price until December 31st. We expect that to reduce by 10% or so annually. So if you'd like to continue to get the product enhancements, now's the time to move to subscription. If you would like more information on moving to subscription, please post that in the questions or contact us. Wrapping up, as mentioned, please post any questions, comments, or requests for more information in the questions box before we close the session. We encourage you to attend our Q&A session at the end of the day at 3:50. If you think of something after the webinar, please contact either myself, your BAASS account manager, or visit our BAASS website. We'd be glad to discuss HRMS with you. If you're using HRMS now and you're interested in learning how to expand your usage, we can discuss the additional modules and integration products. So thank you very much for attending our session on Sage HRMS, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.